So the question is about how the startup culture got into the mainstream and how big corporations are now wanting to act like startups or be more like startups. We have one example in Brazil. I don't remember the name of the bank, but it's a big bank here who is, I don't know, 125 years old, and they have a campaign, a mass media campaign about something like being a startup since 125 years ago. For me, this speaks a lot about how much into the mainstream culture the concept of a startup is. Otherwise, they wouldn't make billboards and they wouldn't make television ads using the word startup. The word wasn't used this way a few years ago. Yeah, this is first of all very interesting that this became part of our mainstream culture. That together with the word entrepreneur, right? An entrepreneur today is something more like respectful than it used to be. You if you were an entrepreneur back in the day, you would be more like hacking your way than having status. But I think this is a wonderful thing overall. The downside would be diluting an idea or a concept. Whenever you make it so broad, people will have to come up with another word to describe what a real startup is. If a bank that has more than a century is calling themselves a startup, people will have to create another word to describe a startup in the long term. But the upside, I think, is very good. It means that startups are doing things in a better way than traditional companies. Otherwise, people wouldn't want to emulate them. And I'm not saying always, of course. There are a ton of traditional companies that are doing much better work than most startups. But the startup culture in general must be doing something well for everybody to start wanting to emulate them. And I would dare to guess that it has to do with innovation. We've been going through uncertain times, and uncertain times require two things. First of all, new solutions, because the problems are new, and that's where innovation comes in handy. But uncertain times also require flexibility. That's something that the lean startup way of doing things brought to the culture a lot. You need to be flexible, and to be honest, to be fair, actually, before the lean startup movement, we had the agile methodologies, ways of building software that were built on top of flexibility, that influenced everybody that came after. So I think if we bring more innovation and flexibility to traditional markets, we might create new solutions for the new problems that are arriving. And the thing we need to be mindful about is not to throw the baby out with the bathwater, which means tradition and the status quo has a reason for being, and we shouldn't disrupt it unless we really think we need to. And sometimes when we are like a startup, we want to disrupt too much. And if the traditional companies start wanting to disrupt too much, maybe we can throw the baby out with the bathwater. But in general, I think it's a great idea to bring more flexibility and innovation, as long as you have a vision that's grounded in experience. If you have a great vision for the future and you're grounded in experience, you can disrupt and bring innovation.